Hi and welcome to In the Front Row, all things reactions, reviews and interviews. My name's Jamie Lee and today I'll be doing a review of the Netflix original movie Day Shift. Before I get into my review, if you're not already, could you please subscribe to my channel and hit that like button for me. So it wasn't too hard for me to get interested in this movie. Jamie Foxx, Snoop Dogg, Dave Franco, I was pretty keen. Then add vampires and I was definitely sold. So in this movie we follow Bud, who is played by Jamie Foxx. He's a hardworking father, really trying to work hard to make money to provide a good life for his daughter and support his wife, who is now separated from. In order to do this, he has a professional pool cleaning business, but that's really just a front, and that's what his wife thinks that he does. His real profession is being a freelance vampire hunter. So in this universe, vampires freely roam the world with humans, and there's an agency that hires people to hunt down and kill these vampires, and their teeth are collected and used as currency. Bud used to work at this union alongside Big John, who's played by Snoop Dogg, and he got fired because, he's about us, he doesn't play by the rules, things like that. So Bud kills what he thinks is an elder vampire and their teeth are worth more money. He goes to sell the teeth at like an independent dealer and learns that it wasn't an elder, learns that the teeth weren't worth as much money as he expected it to be. He's not rolling around in money. So he comes to the realization that he has to go back and work with the union on the day shift. With the help of Big John, he does end up getting his job back under the condition that he's babysat, I guess, by a union rep named Seth, played by Dave Franco. He's like a real goody two-shoes, a real scaredy cat, and his job is to basically make sure that Bud is playing by the union rules or to document when he isn't playing by the union rules. So the vampire that Bud killed in the opening sequence happened to be the daughter of a very powerful, very strong elder vampire named Audrey, played by Carla Souza. And so unintentionally, he started a war with the vampires, putting his family's lives in danger. So I really like this movie for something to watch. It was really entertaining, a lot of fun, didn't take itself too seriously, which was good. It's definitely a movie though where you take your brain out and like leave it sitting there for 2 hours while you watch this action-packed movie about over-dramatically killing all these vampires. And I mean over-dramatic, like all of it is very over the top, very over-exaggerated, but it's very entertaining at the same time. In saying that, although it was entertaining and although it was a lot of fun, it's probably a movie that I would only watch once, but it was good for a one-time watch. One of the things that I found interesting with this movie is the different types of vampires that they included. So there was a few different breeds and each of them had like their own characteristics, their own traits, and even some of them had like their own certain ways of killing those types of zombies. I thought that was really fresh, and I feel like that allowed the kills to be choreographed really creatively. Like there were some super creative ways that they killed off these vampires, and this was my favorite part of the movie, if I'm being honest with you. Like the vampires were really flexible, they looked creepy, and you mix that in with the creative and like really action-packed ways that they killed them. It just all fit and looked great and was a lot of fun. Some of my favorite kills were when Bud teamed up with this freelance duo of vampire hunters played by Scotty Adkins and Steve Howie. These killing sequences were action-packed, they were way exaggerated, but they were so badass and so fun to watch. I thought the acting in this was really believable. Jamie Foxx, as usual, was fantastic. He played a really good badass killing vampires, but he was also really believable in his like family man and like a real caring father figure role as well. Likewise with the actresses who played his wife and his daughter, I thought they did pretty well in this. Some parts of the script were a little bit cringy, so obviously when they acted them out it was a little bit like awkward, or I thought it was a little bit weird, but they did the best with what they had, I guess. And Dave Franco played the annoying sort of like goody two-shoes apprentice, or like the good cop role really well. I mean, again, it was very cringy. Some of the stuff that was in the script, it was a little bit childish, with him wetting his pants all the time and stuff like that. But I think he did well with the script that he had. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm kind of contradicting myself because I'm saying that the script was like a little bit cringy with regards to his character with the whole like wetting his pants and stuff like that. But now that I think back, like the moment where he was talking about shitting himself, like I thought that was one of the funniest lines of the show. So maybe the script wasn't as cringy as I was making out, maybe his character wasn't too bad, but yeah, sometimes I found his character like a little bit childish and a little bit annoying. And then you have Snoop Dogg, who wasn't in it as much as I expected him to be honest with you, and I was a little disappointed with that because I was kind of hoping for him and Jamie Foxx to team up and like really bring me this comedic action-packed vampire movie, and I didn't really get the comedic part in there at all. It kind of felt like there was too many clowns at the circus. Like you have Jamie Foxx, who's a really funny guy, Dave Franco, who I find really funny, Snoop Dogg, who's naturally funny to me as well. And I just feel like they all have chemistry, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like the script didn't really allow for their comedy to shine. I find them all very funny, but character-wise, you know, they didn't really get those opportunities to work together for those comedic parts to actually work. And I think that was a fault of the script, not a fault of them. But yeah, I just wasn't really feeling the comedy in it. And as I said, I just expected the comedy to be a little bit better with this. So the lack of comedy was one of my cons, but also there was a lot going on in here. Like a lot of stuff that didn't really need to be going on. I did mention before about them brothers that, you know, came in and Bud teamed up with to get them awesome vampire kills. And they were awesome scenes, don't get me wrong. But it's just like, why did they even need to be introduced? Like they didn't really make any impact on the story at all. Bud could have used that time to team up with Big John, and that's when you could have had their moments with Jamie Foxx and Snoop Dogg, like really doing their thing and really building that chemistry and showing us like the funny banter that they do have together. I think that was a real missed opportunity by introducing two new characters that were literally there for like one killing scene and then never mentioned or never brought up again. It was just like a really wasted opportunity for me and kind of didn't really need to be in there. Like I get that the killing of them vampires needed to be in there and that looked great, but it just could have been done better by using, you know, Big John in that sequence, I think. And again, with the unnecessary stuff, like we got the point that Aubrey was a super powerful vampire. We got the point that she was an elder. We kind of didn't really need to see the whole her buying real estate and taking over the city, things like that. That part was kind of unnecessary to me because it was like she's a super powerful vampire. Like she could literally bite people on the neck and get, you know, the property or the land or whatever it is she was trying to build and accomplish there. I didn't really see the point of that. And then they have that scene where she's like pouring the concrete all over this vampire who's crossed her. I thought that scene was unnecessary as well because they introduced this good vampire. Again, I'm going to try and overlook that part of the script. But anyway, so this good vampire teams up with Bud and things like that. And she basically told us how horrible of a vampire that this Audrey was. So she told us Audrey's backstory. We didn't really need to see, you know, this, oh, I'm a big badass vampire who's going to pour concrete on another vampire scene. It was just kind of in there, really pointless to me. And I feel like that took away time that we could have actually seen more vampire kills or I don't know, just something different. A few scenes that were in there that I just thought, oh, this is going on a bit too long and like get to the point. And sorry, I know I'm being really petty here, but I did just think of another moment that was really unnecessary, but also really cringy. You know, Snoop Dogg or Big John, should I say, the character, he was playing like the ladies' man and things like that, and all the girls were like, call me and stuff, which is fine. But there was a whole scene in there that kind of didn't even need to be in there. When they went into the union, he used his fingerprint and got let in. But instead they had this lady as a cover, like for a clothes shop or something like that. And Big John had this scene with her and he's like,
pink, penguin, puffy pants.
And that was the code name for her to let them in. And it was just like, did that scene even need to be in there? You know what I mean? It was just so unnecessary. They literally could have just went into the union and just scrapped that whole scene entirely. It just drags on. But apart from that stuff in the middle there that was like really drawn out, I thought that simple story of like a man accidentally starting a war with these vampires and having to fight and kill them in order to get his family back and in order to protect his family, I thought that simple story was great. And if they had cut that middle part out and just really focused and narrowed down on that, I thought it would have been a perfect movie. But as I said, I did enjoy it. It was a great watch. The vampires looked great. The kills were awesome. The way that they choreographed those kills was just absolutely so much fun. The soundtrack was amazing. I literally felt like I was on the West Coast with Snoop Dogg and, you know, we were going on these car chases and stuff with Jamie Foxx. I really felt like I was there with them. As I said, it was a lot of fun, but it's definitely a lot of fun that I would only have that one time. I would say wouldn't watch it again, but it's definitely a fun watch. Anyway, so that's my thoughts on that. Can you let me know in the comments what you thought of this movie? And if you're not already, could you please subscribe to my channel and then head on over to my Instagram and give me a follow over there as well, please. Okay, sweet as. Have a good day. Bye.